48 hours over a weekend. What do you do with that time? Just think for 1 second. The daily tasks, the fun you have with your family, the things that you get up to at a weekend. Now imagine running 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. Hello and welcome to the Ultra Running Podcast with me, Coach Marshy. Hope everyone is well and everything is going well with your training and the ultras that you are taking part in. So, your weekend, thinking about a weekend, thinking about 48 hours, what you actually get done. And then that imagining that you're going to run for 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. David Goggins himself, the challenge that he loves to spread across the ultra running community. So we're going to welcome in today's guest and welcome Elle to the show. Hello, Elle. How are you?
Hello, I'm all right. Neil, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. So what we want to do, we don't want to dive straight in because it's good to know who you are. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about you, your background, your running background, what you do on a daily basis before we talk about anything else.
Do you know what? This is one of those questions that you get asked in a team meeting, and I always seem to panic. And I'm like, I can't remember who I am. What do I do? What's my name? But I know I've almost got this question down to a T now. So I'm Elle. Let's talk about my running. So I'm 26, live in Cambridge. I've only been living in Cambridge for maybe about just coming up to 3 years, actually. And my running background is actually quite short. So when I was growing up, I was a dancer. My background was dance. I used to do ballet, tap, modern. Running was my dance teacher's worst nightmare. If I was doing running at school or running in sixth form, then she'd be like, why are you doing that? You're going to completely ruin yourself. But I was always one of these people at school that would take part in everything. I joined the football team, I joined the rugby team, I tried the netball team, tried the hockey team, did school athletics. So I've always been very sporty and kind of into my fitness. But when I left school, I stopped dancing completely. And then I had a year out. But that was kind of I'm 18 years old now and I don't want to do anything. I want to go out partying. I want to go see my friends at university. But then I started getting into running. I actually joined a run group where I used to live in Hertfordshire. My runs used to be, I'll go for a run. I'll run a mile. Yeah, that's it. That's my run for the week. I'm feeling good. I feel really, that's kind of pumped. So completely nothing like I'm doing now. But joined this run group, met people. Someone was training for a marathon. Someone was signing up to 10Ks. It was just a 5K run that we used to do around like my town. So I was like, yeah, okay, I can do that. One thing I'm good at is just talking to people. So I actually was just so good at talking to people and just running around. I really enjoyed it. Then every kind of week we started up in the distance. So I'd come home and be like, oh, actually, I run 8K today, or actually, I run 10K today. And then it wasn't until someone then turned around to me and went, oh, I'm going to sign up for the Vitality 10K in London. Do you want to do it with me? And I was like, yeah, okay, why not? I'm up for it. Let's do it. Did that, really enjoyed it. And then that's when the hook started. I signed up for my first half marathon in Manchester, literally. And then the day after, went out and ran 10 miles. Worst idea I've ever made. I was wearing not proper running shoes. My feet at the end of it, oh my goodness, they were awful. But I did my first half marathon, and then that's when I became like hooked. I was running. That's all my training was. I would run 5-6 times a week. My Mondays were I'd run 10 miles every Monday. My first half marathon, I ran it in just under 2 hours as well, which I was so surprised at. And I was like, oh my God, I wasn't even expecting that. What is going on? Let's see if I can get that again. Let's see what time I can get in a 10K. Let's do this. So the buzz literally hit me. And then when I moved up to Cambridge, I was working for a pharmaceutical company and was like, oh, I need to find somewhere I can meet people. I'll join a gym. So I joined the Barn Boot Camp up in Willingham, North Cambridge. Again, kind of wanting to go there to meet people, meet a new crowd of people where I locally am. And then fell in love with fitness, found a new way of training, got introduced to weights, which I was absolutely terrified of. I'd been into a gym before, but had never really kind of taken it seriously, if I'm honest with you. I'd go into the gym, I'd walk straight upstairs to the treadmill, and that would be me for 20 minutes, maybe walk downstairs, pick up a couple of weights, but then I'd walk straight back out again. So anything like that was completely new to me. Fell in love with it, and then picked up a personal training qualification with it. So I am now a full-time personal trainer and work with the Barn Boot Camp, which I've been doing officially full-time for looking at maybe about a year now. And I absolutely love it. I've always loved working with people, and I never knew that I would want to work with people in kind of the fitness industry, and what that would look like. So my background of like work has always been in customer service. Worked in restaurants, I've worked in corporate companies. Again, my pharmaceutical work that I did was working more with people than definitely not dealing with science or anything like that. So yeah, my love for fitness and what it's now come to be. And actually my training that I then started doing in the gym, so working kind of more weight training, instantly I saw an improvement in my running. And then I've got a very, very competitive head on me. So I'm my own worst enemy with that sort of stuff. So as soon as I go for a run and I'm like, right, oh my God, that was a really good run. I've done a 5K in my best time. I'm going to see if I can do it again. Or what can I get for my 10K? And I will just go, and see what I can do, really. So I think that kind of explains me in a nutshell. Bit competitive.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
love a chat. I've just chatted to you for a good God knows how long.
No, it's good. We like to know, because actually the background of a person can sometimes give away a lot about their running and their running background, but actually sometimes, there is a short journey that has led to what we're about to talk about. So if we're going to dive straight into this, the David Goggins 48-hour challenge is something that in the ultra world, if you don't know about it and you're into ultra running, I would say I'm not sure what you've really followed. It's not commercial, it's not big, it's not small. It's just something that you should know about, or I think you should know about, because I think it's cool. So for anyone who doesn't know, we explained it in the hook at the beginning that, that 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. So tell us a little bit about the challenge in terms of what it is, what made you do it, and why you did it, and that kind of initial conception of it.
Okay, so conversation started probably the beginning or start of the year 2023. So at the barn where I work, every year we do, we almost pick like a charity of the year. And we look at events that we can do with members, as coaches, as individuals, as like ways of raising money, really. So last year we did a 24-hour challenge for November, which was so tough. We did a workout every hour for 20 minutes. And I was kind of thinking, I wonder if we can do something like that. Like, what can we do maybe as another 24-hour challenge? So we did the 3 peaks. Then I was just chatting to one of my other coaches, and she mentioned David Goggins, and we were chatting about David Goggins. And I was like, yeah, he's crazy, isn't he? Like, who would do that? And then she mentioned the 48-hour challenge. And I was like, oh, what's the 48-hour challenge? She was like, oh, you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And in my head, straight away, I was like, yeah, I can do that. It's like, that doesn't sound too bad, does it? Like, yeah, okay. Like, looked into it, did some research, watched some videos, and I was like, yeah, okay, I reckon I can do that. Like, I can get everyone involved. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be an individual thing. I can get people to join me for any run they want. It's not going to be me going at full pace for 4 miles at all. If anything, I'll just want to get those 4 miles kind of done and over with, at whatever pace, just get it finished. So I can get as many people as I want involved. I can do it up here in North Cambridge, or I can do it down in Cambridge just to change the scenery. I was like, yeah, this is a really good idea. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. That's it. It's decided. I'm going to do it. So announced it. And actually, where you say there that in the ultra running world, it's a big kind of event or big kind of thing or to do, achievement to do. I did not have any idea kind of about how big this was. It was only actually as well, a couple of clients of mine, we were talking about, they were like, oh, why did you do it? And I was like, do you know what? I love a challenge. So the last year, or I did London Marathon in October 2022. Yeah, that was the year. And then April 23. So trained for 2 marathons within 6 months, did that October marathon, went on holiday for 2 weeks, then was like, right, get back to training for another marathon. And I absolutely loved my long runs. Absolutely loved it. So I was like, 48 miles, this will be really fun. Like, I absolutely love it. So yeah, so 2 clients of mine were like, oh, so why are you doing it? I was like, well, I haven't signed up for a marathon this year, so I thought I'd do another challenge. I'll do this. So they were like, so you're going to run 2 marathons in one weekend? And I was like, oh. And it only then just hit me of how far I was actually going to be running over the weekend. So I was like, yeah, okay, you put it like that, that kind of makes it sound really different now. Okay, this is going to be quite big. And then when I announced it as well on my social media, I had so many people message me to be like, oh my God, this is crazy. You're crazy. I can't believe it. I had a few people message me who had done it before, being like, this is going to be so tough, but you'll be great at it. Like, here's my advice to you. The evenings are going to be really tough. What time are you going to do it at? And I was like, oh my God, there's so many things to think about. I was like, oh my goodness. But like, from the things of thinking of like what I was going to wear over the duration of the 48 hours, what I was going to eat, when I was going to shower, if I was going to wash my hair. Now, as a girl, that is like a massive thing. I was just like, do I just tie my hair up for the whole 48 hours and not bother washing it? Because I assume I'm just going to want to prioritize my sleep. But yeah, it was just came about like that, really.
Yeah. So, we wouldn't normally talk in the ultra world too much about sort of speed and pace and everything. But when you talk about 4 miles at the beginning of a 4-hour chunk before you do the next 4 miles, was there a sort of average time that each 4 miles took, or did it get worse as you went on? Did it maintain the same? And with that in mind, the reason I ask that is because when you think about sort of the things you've just mentioned, prioritizing sleep, what you're going to wear, getting ready for the next run, what is the transition like from finishing, say, I don't know, let's take 10-minute mile, 40 minutes. What then happens? You kind of got 20 minutes and then it's 3 hours to go again. What is the actual process and what is it like in those moments straight after?
Yeah, so initially I'd kind of set out a plan because I wanted so many people to run with me. I was kind of saying, I reckon the 4 miles will probably take somewhere between 40 to 50 minutes. It's not going to be a fast run. If anything, I call my easy runs my chatty runs, especially when I'm with a group of people. So that's what I was saying to people. Going into it, my first run, do you know what? It was very dependent as well to who I was running with. But everyone that I ran with, so like I say, I did this for the charity, and a way of kind of getting people involved with me in the running was inviting them to come and run with me. So everyone who came with me was like, right, you can set the pace. You're the one that's been running for God knows how long when we join you. So you set the pace and see how kind of quick, slow you want to go. So that's fine. The first run, I mean, I was absolutely buzzing, but I think we did that one in about 35 minutes. So not far off the 40-minute mark. Still kind of wanted to reserve some of my energy. The second one I actually did by myself. And I think because I did it by myself, I just was like, okay, I need to get 4 miles done. So
did the reality hit in when you were by yourself on the second run or not?
No, not by this point. I set myself out and was like, I just need to get it done, because I actually had a workshop then to do in between my second and third run. So I was like, I'll just get this done, get the 4 miles done, and then I'll be there. So I think I did that one in about half an hour. So I think you're looking somewhere like between 7 and 7.5 minute miles. So that one was quick. And even then, everyone I saw was like, how have you done it? And I was like, well, it's only my second run. I was like, I feel great. I was like, I feel fine. Went and did the workshop with a couple of members. And what I did as well is I got them to come and then run with me for that 8 o'clock one. So that's another thing, really, is like when I started planning it was, what time am I going to actually run at? So I started on the Friday and I finished on the Sunday. So
was the first run 8 a.m. on the Friday?
12 p.m. on Friday.
Okay, yeah.
So I had 12, 4, 8 p.m. So my dark runs, or the runs that I did at night, were at 8 p.m., midnight, and 4 a.m. So actually, it wasn't too bad, because someone who had messaged me before that was like, I think he had done some different times to me and said that the ones at night were the most hardest, which totally agree with, but I'll come back onto that.
So what was the time of year on that as well?
It was end of October.
Yeah,
20,
so
so yeah,
clock changey time.
yeah, funny enough, the clocks actually went back, forward
Yeah.
that weekend, which
Spring forward, back, yeah,
gave
back,
me
yeah.
an extra hour to sleep, whatever way around it was. It gave me an extra hour. So anyway, so initially going out as well, kind of thinking, right, if the run's going to take me about 40 to 50 minutes, realistically, I've got about 3 hours to prepare myself for the next run. In my head, I was like, I'm just going to see how I feel. I'm going to get back. So my house was my base. I'm going to get back, see how I feel, just sit. I sat on my sofa. That was just my safe spot. That I was like, I'm going to sit on my sofa. I'm going to eat some food. If I drift off, I drift off. But then I'll just have to put an alarm and wake myself up 15 minutes before I need to go out, because my meeting spot as well, especially for the midnight runs, the 4 a.m. run and the 8 a.m. run, we're going to be at literally the bus stop, which is literally 5 minutes from my house. So it was perfect. So I could literally get up and go. So that was one definite plan I had. I was like, so I don't need to worry about driving anywhere or anything like that. I did, however, have some runs that I did in Cambridge that were also just to mix it up a little bit. I tried to make every route different, just to make it that bit more exciting. And then also get to people be like, right, we're going to run this route today, or we're going to be in Cambridge. The route I had in Cambridge was very, very nice. It was very autumnal, so I really enjoyed those. But actually, I think it was as I got to maybe halfway through, so on the Saturday, I then kind of found that I'd almost created my own routine that I didn't go in thinking I would. So I then ended up I'd run. Every run would probably take about 40 minutes, I would say, 40 to 45 minutes. I'd get back. Straight away, I'd eat something. So I'd prepared boxes of pasta, protein bars, flapjacks, sweets, pizzas, everything you could think of. I've literally got in my house. Was just like, right, I'll eat something now, and then I'm going to lay on the couch, see if I can sleep an hour, see if I can sleep for an hour. And then what I found actually is, because before my first 4 a.m. one, which was the one that I was really nervous about, because the one thing I struggle with is my sleep. When I'm tired, I'm tired. I thought I will be okay at my running. We'll see how I go. I know I can slow down my pace. I'm quite knowledgeable with how I can control that. But when it comes to me being tired, I can't control how tired I'm going to be. So the 4 o'clock one, the first 4 o'clock one, I woke up 5 minutes before I had to leave. And the guys who came and met me knocked on my door. And I was literally opened the door and was just like, okay, I'm awake now. Yeah, let's go 4 miles. And I was still, as I was like the first part of that run, still was not awake. And I felt
So did you like, when you finished the run that you'd just done, did you then get yourself ready and changed into the next stuff or not?
Yeah, potentially. So especially the ones at night, yes, I did. Because especially at this time of year, it was very cold. And especially because one thing I'm really bad at is my body temperature. When I feel the cold, I was wearing long sleeve running jackets, then I'd wear a hoodie, and then I'd wear a run jacket. But as soon as I start running, I am sweating. I am really warm. So as soon as I get home, I'm just like, I need to get out of all these clothes and just completely get changed. To the point that I said earlier, is like thinking about my hair wash routine. I went in thinking I'm gonna just have to shower, use my house where I can shower, but I just won't wash my hair. It'll be fine. That's going to take more time. I don't want to waste time. I want to sleep. But I had to have a proper full on and wash my hair as well. Just because I just totally underestimated how warm I would get. Then you kind of think, okay, it's a little bit stupid, Elle. Like, you're going to be running. Of course, you're going to get warm. So I kind of learned that maybe for my last run. But when I'm cold, I'm cold. But yeah, no, for that 4 o'clock run, I was so tired. So my routine then literally ended up being get back from the run, eat, sit on the sofa, try and sleep. put my alarm on an hour before I needed to leave, so then I could wake up, have a coffee, have something to drink, eat something, so I feel a little bit more human and that I'm ready to go again. But if I'm honest with you, the sleep in between was no more than about 30 minutes. And that wasn't like good quality sleep. That was, I'm going to drift off. I put something on the TV, I'm going to drift off. And then, oh, okay, I'm awake again. Like did not sleep. The only sleep I got was thankful because I got that extra hour. So that was on the Sunday at my midnight run. That I had 5 hours in between, and I was so excited to finish that midnight run. I was running with a lady called Claire, and I went, "I'm so sorry, Claire. I have to go. I need to go to sleep. I've got 2 hours of good sleep coming up." And I did, and I got 2 hours flat out, and I woke up an hour at 3 a.m. and was like, "Oh, that was good. I got 2 hours sleep. Okay, I got 2 more runs to go. I could do this. This is good. This is good." So the sleep was probably the hardest part for me, especially just because I know how bad I am when I'm tired. But somehow managed to keep awake and energized and can consistently keep to that 40-minute 4 mile each time. So pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I mean the body's quite amazing like that. As
Oh
in,
my
when
God.
it's asked to do something, what you can actually achieve. But I think in our sort of day jobs, because we
Yeah.
both do the same day job, I think we probably find that with a lot of people, they don't realize what is actually capable
Yeah.
and what they can do. And I think when you do a challenge like you did, that moment is just, you start learning a lot
Yeah.
about yourself, and you learn that actually you can do this, you can cope, and it's not forever, and the pain won't last, and whether that be physical or mental, I think. And it sounds like you kind of did strategies as you went, and you learned as you went, and it just was that's the best way. That is absolutely the best way, I think, in any type of running, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the whole 48-hour challenge, when people ask me now about it and they say, "Oh, how did it go? Did you enjoy it? It must have been so hard." I absolutely loved it. I really enjoyed it. If I could do it again, I would do it again. Or if anyone was going to do it and if anyone wanted any support, I'll do it. Like I would so be up for it. Or if anyone was even thinking about doing an ultra run or wanted to do a challenge like this, do it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I am a runner. So if you're not a runner, maybe don't do it. But I absolutely loved it. It was actually just the aftermath for me that I really struggled with. Again, going back to how tired I felt, I woke up, so I finished, my last run was at 8 a.m. Sunday morning. I had so much energy after. I think you almost expect that you'd finish it and you just almost want to fall asleep straight away. But I went for a coffee with my mum and a couple of friends, had some lunch, walked around Cambridge for a bit. It was great. It wasn't only until then I sat down in the car and I was just like, "Oh, I could do with a nap." So I got home, napped, but it was only for about an hour. And then I was just so hungry. So I ate all day Sunday. But Monday, Tuesday, that whole week, mentally was tough, real tough. I just kind of, going back to me being tired, I didn't realize how tired I was. I woke up on Monday thinking I've had a nice chilled out day on Sunday. I've had a lay-in on Monday. Got a bit of a headache, but I'm just gonna go for a walk. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll have some paracetamol. I'll make sure I'm eating correctly. But it wasn't until then. So I went back into work and I just sat there and was like, I can't even can't concentrate, couldn't talk to you. If you ask me a question, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. I can't function at all. And to that then comes with emotion. So I just wanted to cry. And I think I cried for about 2 days straight because I was just so exhausted. But I'm also my own
Just
worst.
that emotion coming out, right?
Oh, yeah, completely. But then the emotion then came out. And then because I love to work and do what I do, and me when I get to train, when I get to go for a run, I absolutely love it. And me being like, okay, now you need to rest. I've always struggled with my rest, and I think it's so common for people to forget about your recovery weeks and forgetting about rest and how important it is. And that's definitely something that I've learned from marathon training, just from training in general, and just wanting to be better, but how important those rest weeks are. And actually, that really hit me hard, and how emotional I was, to then kind of your little bit of anxiety and then scoops under that, and me not doing anything I found hard, because I'm constantly on the go, whether that's me going to work, going to go for a run, or going to the gym, or going to see my family, going to see my friends. I've always got something going on, and I love it. I love being chaotic, but thinking in my head, I have to now sit here and rest, I found really, really hard. And throughout that whole week, I was just absolutely exhausted. And actually, I have a run group, and on Wednesday night, I didn't do anything on Wednesday, and thought, do you know what? I feel so down, but all I want to do is just go and see that group. So I did. We went for a really nice run, and I instantly, my mood just picked back up. And I was like, and this is why I love running. It's not the running itself, it's the how it makes me feel, and the people that run with me, and that community that you can join or you can create, whether that's with a group of friends or with a group of strangers. You've all got something in common. You're running. You can all chat about anything you like, and you can all achieve whatever you like. You can realize that you've got a lot more to you, or you can do a lot more than what you think you can. And that kind of community to me is probably the most important part. And I think as well as one of the most important parts to the 48-hour challenge, I couldn't do that by myself at all. If someone was there, I mean, I say I'm lazy. I probably would struggle, because I knew I had to go and meet someone. I knew I had people to go and meet every single run.
It's that accountability, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew I had someone to go meet. And even thinking, sometimes you go for a run, you really don't want to go for a run. So I listen to my pace when I run. So going around and think, that's 1 kilometre done, that's 2 kilometres done, that's 3 kilometres done. Oh, okay, like how many more have I got to go? That was completely taken away from me, because the whole way around, it would just be a really nice conversation. And I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did without those people joining me. And I couldn't be more thankful for them for joining me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
just
that's cool.
changed
That's
it.
really cool. And you sort of mentioned there about anyone doing a challenge or wanting to do a challenge, and you know, where we're from. This is a shout out to Simon up in Manchester, who's a regular listener of us.
Like,
Um, he loves me to talk about how flat Cambridge is. So where Elle and I are from is, or where we live is very flat, and sometimes as a runner that's a good advantage. But locally, you may or may not be aware of a young girl who in the local area that her mum and dad do a lot of challenges to raise money for her with Batten's disease. And talking to her dad, there's a possibility that this challenge is on the horizon for him and potentially myself, and then Rumpreneur Kev, who's been on the show as well. So it's definitely something that we might do. And with you local and in the area, if we do it, I'm definitely going to be calling on you
oh,
for some sort of experience,
yeah,
chat, and
absolutely.
knowledge for
Like,
sure. So
runs just to distract you. I can talk to you for a good 40 minutes to an hour about anything you like, just to completely distract you and keep you going. That is what I'm there for. Yeah, totally.
yeah, I mean, I think me and you like a chat, Elle. I think that's who we are in it. We don't mind a little chat. So just on that then, in terms of the moments of struggle, specifically those moments of struggle, what were they like? Were there even any? And how did you come out of them? How did you overcome that challenge in those moments of struggle?
Struggle for me. So again, tiredness kicked in for me. I stupidly went to work at 8 a.m. in the morning before my 8 a.m. run. So literally slap bang in the middle, got no sleep between that time. And I was just, I think because I was by myself during the kind of bits in between, I'm not good by myself. And that's when I struggled. And me being tired, I felt very down, was very like, oh, here we go. Got to go and do another run. But then what got me out of that was, right, who have I got on me on my next run? I've got this person, this person, this person with me. Great. Okay. This is fine. This is the route I'm going to do. This is great. But also, as well, I was raising money for charity. So we raise money for Jimmy's Cambridge, which is a charity that support the homeless in Cambridge. And I was just seeing people constantly messaging me, constant support I can't even tell you the amount of support I got, whether it was social media, people wanting to give me a call throughout the whole 48 hours, people joining me, people seeing people at the gym. It was so overwhelming, and it was so nice. And that feeling is just something I'm never going to forget. It's just, I am so thankful for the community that I'm surrounded by. I went out with an idea of, well, to be fair, I was like, I want to raise money for Jimmy's. I don't know how much money I am going to raise, but anything, like, I will raise as much as I can. Then going into it, I was like, no, do you know what? I'm going to see if I can raise £1,000. That's going to be my target. I can raise £1,000. So I'd mentioned it to a lot of the people I was running with, saying I want to get to £1,000 by the end of this. Mentioned it to the members at the gym, put it on my social media. I was like, right, £1,000, that's my target. Halfway through, I think I was at about the £450 mark, and I was like, oh, if I get to £900, I'd be so happy. Like, £450 is amazing already. But then as I finished, it just didn't stop, and I raised, I think, £1,200, which I was over the moon with, so over the moon. And yeah, from like a charity raising or fundraising kind of point of view, I didn't think I would ever be able to raise that much money, especially in 48 hours running. Everyone knows that I run. I was like, everyone knows that I run, so they probably don't even think this is a massive challenge to me. But until I was actually talking to people about it and saying, or kind of just giving them the in-depth detail of how I was feeling, and just talking to them about my whole experience of it, really, I think it then kind of dwelled on people as, actually, oh my God, this is insane. And I think I almost came to that realization as well halfway through, especially when I did those 4 a.m. runs. I was then thinking, if anyone drives past me at 4 a.m. in the morning, they're going to drive past and think, what's she doing on a run at 4 a.m.? And I always wanted to have on my back, like, I'm running for charity, I'm doing the 48-hour challenge. But yeah, no. So yeah, definite struggles were in between. But coming out of it, just the community that I had surrounding me and the support that I had throughout that whole weekend was just, yeah, the best thing.
Do you live alone, or do you live with someone, or?
I live by myself. I've got a cat, but no, I live by myself.
So there was sort of no one there to see or to talk to, or thought that you were absolutely crazy.
Yeah, so like those runs that I did during the day, especially where I could go to. So the ones that I did from Cambridge, I did from the Lululemon store we have in Cambridge. So I had people come to me, and I tell you what, one thing really good about it was the amount of food that people gifted me. Oh my goodness. At that midday run that I did on the Saturday, so a couple of members from my gym were in Cambridge, and they saw me before I went out on the run. They were like, right, Elle, hot drink and a treat. What do you want? I was like, coffee and anything chocolatey. That would be amazing. And there is on Cambridge Market a really, really good cake stall. They come to Northstowe quite a bit. Oh my God, they brought me 2 fat slabs of brownie, and oh my God, the sugar rush I got after that was insane. I was so energetic. I was like, I'll go again. I'll go for a 4 run mile now. I was like, ready to go. But even saying that as well, so where I live, they do like every week it's like a foodie club. So we have food trucks every day over on our local green. So Saturday night was the Greek gyros van. I love a Greek gyros. And my conversation...
it's a great van. For anyone who doesn't know it, it's a great van.
So good. So good. And every time I go for a run, I always end up getting a conversation of food because I love my food as well. And made apparent that the Greek food van was there. So as soon as I finished I think it was my 8 o'clock run, I had a text from one of our coaches and a good friend of mine, and he said, right, I've got you a gyro. It's in my oven. Let me know when you're finished. As soon as I finished, I was like, walking back to my house now. And that went in 5 minutes. That just disappeared. But that was really, really good. That was really nice.
There's many bad stereotypes of running, but one of the ones that I really think should be out there about stereotypes for runners is that we love food. Part of being a runner's got to be that you love food, surely.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm not being funny, but when I was little, the whole excuse of me of why I'd go for a run or why I'd do some sort of exercise would be so I could eat. I am such a foodie. I love food. Not fussy at all. I absolutely love it. It's great. Do you know, there's nothing even better as well, going for a run and then getting a coffee and a cake after. Oh,
I
it's lovely.
I agree. Absolutely. We love a cafe at the end of a run.
Yeah.
So during the challenge, probably the last question about a challenge, and I've got a couple of others for you, but during the challenge, is there anyone that you think you need to shout out to, or someone that did lots of runs with you, or that needs a special mention?
There are many people I could give a shout out to. In general, I'd give a huge, huge shout out to all of my members at the barn. Like, you're all incredible. All of your support is what helped me get round and what kept me as happy, as positive, as energetic as they all know me as throughout the whole 48 hours. Definite shout out to Shannon Logan for running with me at 4 a.m. Both 4 a.m. runs, keeping me sane at 4 a.m.
Yeah, but he didn't tell you what his secret weapon was for that, did he?
No, what has he told you? What did he say?
Well, I know he didn't need to tell me because I did it with him. So back in 2021?
Yeah.
No, 2019, before the pandemic.
Mhm.
2019, Shannon and I took part as part of a team that were doing something called the Hope Alive Tour.
Yeah.
Don't know if he's ever told you about it. If he hasn't, you need to ask him about
I
it.
think he has told me.
We will cover this on this show at some point. We've never talked about it. And what it is you run as a relay team from Hull to
Yes.
Liverpool to Manchester to Nottingham to Cambridge.
Yeah.
And you do it continuously with no break, basically.
Yeah.
So there was many a time over those 4 days that Shannon and I did that it was 4 a.m. on a few occasions that we were out and it was our turn to run. And me and him remember specifically at about that sort of time. I don't know if it was 4 a.m., but middle of the night, stupid hours, running through Manchester together.
Mm.
And we just talked an absolute pile of rubbish about anything.
Yeah.
And before we knew it, we'd done like a 10K of this. And that was another 10K ticked off for the team. So don't be fooled. Shannon had loads of experience of running at that time.
To be fair, he was like, "Oh, I'll join in whatever run you like." And I was like, "Perfect, 4 a.m." I was like, "Keep coming at 4." I was like, "I don't know where I'm going to." But no.
And he's a great guy, and so it's good.
Yeah, big shout out to him. But also as well, so Lululemon helped me out a lot. So I ran from their shop in Cambridge. So a huge shout out to those girls in there. They make you feel incredible and they make me feel incredible. And again, it wouldn't have been done without their support either. So huge shout out to those girls at the store.
So yeah, I'm going to talk to you about that actually, as you've mentioned them there. So as we record this, it's towards the end of 2023. And I understand that you're their 2023 Lululemon Run Ambassador. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, it goes from 2023. It's 2023, 2024. So yeah, by the time this comes out, I'll still be the Run Ambassador for a day. Yeah.
Bit like a football season.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Tell you what, I played a game of football nil last weekend. And I tell you what, everyone was like, I don't play football. I don't know the rules of the game. They were like, right, Elle, you can go left wing. All you have to do is run up and down the side of the pitch. I was like, right, fine. If I see the ball, I'll just run and kick it. I hurt more from doing that football match than doing this 48-hour challenge. Oh my goodness. It's just me just pelting it up and down and then also kicking a ball. Yeah, mad.
Who do you support anyone in football?
No, I don't really, although my partner and my family might completely disagree with me on that, but no, I don't really have a team, no.
Okay, that's cool. So Lululemon, Runner Ambassador. What tell someone, I think the world probably knows if they do social media that there are like sports ambassador brands and things like that. But what does that entail and how's it linked to running? What does it mean?
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, Lululemon is kind of a fitness apparel. Canadian, it's a Canadian brand. So I think has probably come to my attention, especially maybe in the last 2 or 3 years. The Cambridge store has only been open for about 3 years, I believe, but is now becoming large and has become a little bit more kind of noticeable, I think, especially in the UK. So as their ambassador, or how I got to know the guys down at Lululemon, they have connected with every single gym, mental, physical kind of well-being company, personal trainer, any anyone or everyone in Cambridge, basically.
Yeah.
So they're just great at building kind of that, first of all, that connection, make you feel like a little bit more of a community and somewhere you can go into Cambridge. So kind of started building a relationship with them. And then it was, I want to say it was April, May time, 23, that I was approached and walked into store one day and they were like, "You're our run ambassador." Da-da! And I was like, "Oh my goodness, okay." So it was a complete surprise to me. I had no idea that I was going to be selected or be the chosen one, if you like. But they had said what they were kind of looking for was someone who was very passionate about running. They don't just do running clothing or accessories. They do running, yoga, train, hike, male and female as well. So I'm also ambassadors with 2 more. So I run, you've got yoga, and then you've got train ambassador. So we kind of represent each of those categories. And what they do is they support us with what we do, whether that's kind of personal, whether that's helping us develop, whether that's helping us grow, understand where we want to get to. But we also kind of in return then help them and just create this massive exposure to what Lululemon are. And yeah, so it's been a bit of a whirlwind, really. I can't believe at first I was totally in shock that I was selected. What's that word? Imposter syndrome. I
Yeah.
completely had that. And I was like, I just run. I just run.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've run a couple of marathons. I know I run all the time, but
It's a big brand now. It's really well known, right?
yeah,
People know it.
yeah, absolutely. People know it. And I think it's become really big on social media as well. You have the likes of Johnny Davis, who did his the running every tube line in London. And he's also a run ambassador. Do you know what? That also kind of gave me the inspiration of like, how can we also put Cambridge on the map? How can we show what Lululemon are? And how can I also kind of raise money for charity and challenge myself? So all of those kind of things kind of played into it. I was like, I want to do something just as big as that. If that can create that much attention there, what can I do even in Cambridge that's going to give Cambridge that exposure, Lululemon that exposure, me that exposure, but also as well, me raising money for that charity. So what's going to give Jimmy's that exposure? So putting that on the map, or me doing that just to kind of shout it out to people what I'm doing, let people know what I'm doing, did that. And very excited. And I'm like, first of all, I'm very grateful that you want to even talk to me about it. Like, I did not think this would be happening. But
Well,
yeah.
it's something that I've, like I said to you before we started recording, I think this is something that it's great to have someone so close to me in proximity that's actually done it, and someone that I know from the fitness community has actually done it, and now it's really tangible. Whereas if it had just been a random person, I'm sure we'd have had a good chat about it and whatever. But actually, when you know someone, it makes it a little bit more like touchable.
Yeah.
And you can feel it more. And we follow each other on social media. So at the time of it, I saw you doing it, and it, with whatever you can get from stories and stuff, you do find yourself kind of wrapped up in what that person's doing. And because it was over a whole weekend, we were very busy here at my gym that weekend with an event, so I couldn't join you. But the one thing I was looking at, other than what I was focused on, was, oh, where's Elle at? What's she on? What?
Many people said that to me as well. So many people said to me, I think one lady actually said, "Oh, I woke up in the morning and I thought, oh, I wonder what run Elle's on." And then I had to look at her social media to see where I was at and what I was getting up to. I was like, oh my God, like, thank you so much for wanting to know what I was getting up to. Like,
yeah, no, I thought you did well in that moment, actually, because to remember to update social media, we've done 24-hour challenges before, like 24-hour spins and stuff like that. And some years you'd look at your Instagram after and you go, we didn't really cover that. And you didn't cover it because you were tired, you forgot, you were too wrapped up in the next thing, and it just didn't really work. So, fair play, well done for actually doing that as well. But no, that's cool. So talking about running itself, whether it be ultra running or not, what would you say? Have you got any bucket list kind of like goals that you want to achieve, or races or anything like that?
I have a few. I'm in a place at the moment with my running. So last year and the beginning of 2023 for me was all about getting a 1.5 hour half marathon, which I've got a 1:31 in Cambridge. So I
Oh
still need to get
dear.
that. So that is on the top of my bucket list, is to get a 1:30 or a sub 1:30 half marathon.
Did that hurt you emotionally that day?
Yes, because I was honestly, that last mile, I don't think I've ever run as fast as I could. The week before, to be fair, I ran, so I did that Cambridge half marathon. I had Brighton half marathon. And for that one, I was like, I'll just take it easy. Like, I've got one next weekend. That's the one I want to get the 1:30 at. But that one in Brighton actually really surprised me, and I felt so good that I actually got a 1:32 there. And I was like, that's it. I've done it. I'm on for a 1:30 in Cambridge, but I must have just absolutely got so excited and exhausted myself that I didn't there. So I was like, right, I'm gonna have to get that another time. But my mindset has completely changed towards the end of the year, in that I just love going out for a run, and I'm just enjoying the run, and not having to think of how far I'm going to go or what pace I'm going to run at, or kind of put that pressure on myself. I give myself an idea of maybe how far I'm going to run, say tomorrow, whatever. But there's just no pressure. I put my headphones in, I go off for a run, meet up with some people. I'm like, yeah, fancy going for a run. No pressure on what it is. Let's go. Just, I'm really kind of set in that like place at the moment. But a 1.5 marathon is at the top of my list. So that will probably be going into 2024. With regards to like marathons, so I did London Marathon twice. And if I do another marathon, I definitely want to go overseas and do it. See you do New York. New York just looked incredible. That's definitely on the bucket list. New York Marathon will be there.
Yeah, I mean, my feedback to you on that would be this: it as a life experience, you'll struggle to beat it. As a sporting spectacle, you'll struggle to beat it. As a runner, it's a hard course. Whoever you are, whatever level you're at, that is a hard course. But you have to do it, because I think you would buzz off it. I think that would be epic. So you should do it, definitely.
I followed so many people on social media that weekend, and I was getting buzzed from watching their social media. I was like, oh my God, that looks so much fun. Yeah, don't you think it's funny as well how I've just described that as fun? A lot of people probably listen to this and go, yeah, you're nuts. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think running is a bit of a if you know, you know type of thing. And if you don't know, I always say you should find out.
Absolutely. I think so too.
So yeah, no, that's cool. That's wicked. So, that was my first overseas marathon. Well, actually, event, full stop.
Yeah.
And even though it's an English speaking country and all of that, it's very different. It's a different experience to what you get even at London Marathon, for example. So, it's worth, I think doing a challenge overseas, whatever it is always a good idea, because there's a different culture. There's a different way of setting things up, all of that. So no, that's cool. And then last question for me.
Okay.
You mentioned about the 48-hour challenge, and you said anyone thinking about it should do it. If there are people listening to this that have done it, want to do it, and they're taking on board what you've said today, could you kind of summarize that into like 3 tips for them?
Okay. First one will be okay, you'll probably go in it with a plan, but don't expect to stick to that plan. I found that I created that plan or that structure as I did it, and I found out how I felt and got to know how I felt after runs and before runs. So that's how I kind of planned my in-between bit for me to get ready for my next one. If you can, get people to get involved with you. That would be my next one. Like I said, like me being alone, no, I didn't enjoy it. But as soon as I then met with people and having that distraction, having that chat on that run, made it 10 times better. If you can, get anyone involved, get someone involved to join you on a run, whether it's someone different, whether someone wants to join you for however many, do it, get people involved with you. And then my last one, what else would I say? I'm not too sure.
I mean, you don't have to have 3.
Have fun.
They're to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, is there any point in this if you don't have fun?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not about doing every run in a certain time. Like you've said, you know, the community idea and people being there and all of that, you know. And then there's that bit of resilience that you probably knew you had, but you weren't sure, and it tested it at times, and
Yeah.
you know, all of that. But do you know what? I think the third tip is actually probably the main one, right? If you can't have fun, why would you bother?
Exactly.
You know, what would be the point in that? But no, and I think actually point one about having you know, you'll have a plan, but you're kind of saying the plan is to not really have a plan.
Yeah, literally. Go with the flow. I'm
What,
very
what,
much someone that goes with the flow, and I will go on how I feel and what my environment is, and I will see what happens and deal with that. I will manage it there and then. If I go into it with a plan, I think I'm just almost very I would hate to do something and then not stick to it. So if I can just go in with it with an open mind and see what happens and deal with it, and also listen to my body, see how my body's feeling, especially my mind. If I'm tired, go to sleep. The rest week after, there you go. Point number 3, allow yourself that rest time. Do not give yourself just 12 hours rest. Give yourself a couple of days. Take yourself away from whatever you need to do, whatever's going to maybe get into your head that might give you that little bit of stress or anxiety. Just take your own time. Allow rest. Recover, recover, recover.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. That is cool. They are our top 3 tips. That's really good. So, Elle, thanks very much for coming on the show. For me personally, it's been a massive pleasure just to hear everything you've got to say about it, because being interested in it and knowing what it was before you did it it's great to now have heard that kind of version and your version and your unique story for it. So I really appreciate it. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been great.
It's been great. And for everyone that's listening, watching on YouTube, wherever it is you're getting this, thanks for listening and thanks for watching the show. If you did find it useful, you're about to do the 48-hour challenge yourself, please get in contact. Pop it on your comments wherever you're kind of listening to this or watching it on YouTube. Please pop in the comments something for us so that we know you're doing it as well, because it's a community. We want to support it and we want to look at you doing it as well. And if you know anyone who's looking at this challenge or loves David Goggins, make sure you tag him. Make sure you share this with anyone that wants to know about it. Let's spread the word about Elle's great achievement as well and get that awareness out there, because I think it's worth doing that in our ultra running community. So that's everything from us today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Elle hopes you enjoyed the show. And hopefully we can meet here again to discuss more on the Ultra Running Podcast.